Give me an M. Give me an A. Give me a G. Give me another A. What's that spell, Moonshiner Todd? Good evening to you and all. And Miss Brenda right behind you. Hello, Jack and family. Hello, family. Uh, Karen Phillips. What's going on with you, Karen Phillips? Not Ronnie Phillips. Not the Phillips Mega TV, and they make everything Philips now. They make, you go into the MRI machine, it's made by Philips or another brand that you would recognize from your house. Yeah. Have you noticed that? Welcome, M. Silva from the Lone Star State. Hello, hello. And Tess is here. Hey, we're the monkeys. People say we monkey around, but well, at least we're too busy singing to put anybody down. Hello, hello, hello. On Ash Wednesday, the 5th of March. The 5th of March. M. Silva don't monkey around, not in the last 24 hours anyway. But we do have the tape of your life, and there are some, moments like we all have that, a little bit embarrassing. Oh, embarrassment is in the eye of the accuser, you know. Saw some woman yelling at her daughter, a little daughter, as she came out of ShopRite, saying, "I'm mad at you because you embarrass me, and I don't like being embarrassed." Okay. Well, here's Hockey 92. Hockey 92. Saying good evening, Jack, and everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. Nice to see you back. Hockey 92. What's the RIT? What's the RIT, Hockey 92? And we have 23 watching with 5 likes. And please identify yourself, name, rank, and serial number if you haven't already. We have very familiar names here right now. It was a good day, I guess. I'm pretty happy right now. I know we have a number of prayer requests. List them, and we'll pray at the end. And if you miss the end, you can always, watch the replay. Because as soon as we finish this live broadcast, it should be immediately available for replay. All right. And so went to St. Joseph's for Ashes for the 4:30 prayer service and Ashes. Met a new priest. I haven't seen him before. And church was pretty full. 4:30 was definitely a popular time. I would say, I don't know, 250 people, maybe something like that. The church used to pull incredible numbers back when St. Joseph's School was open, but now not as big, except for the Spanish service. Getting into the Spanish service is like getting a ticket to Taylor Swift, and it's a big church, and they put them in the balcony too. It is a big church. It's not a little church. I've been in Catholic churches that are much more modest, but this one seats hundreds and hundreds of people. But the Spanish service is I only went to one mass because I hadn't made the 11:30, and I said, I'm going to try the Spanish service. I'll know a little bit of it, very little, but it was wonderful, and it was packed to the rafters. To Teresa Williams joins us. Hello, everyone from Mississippi. And Sandra Fair. It's nice to have you here, Teresa and Sandra. Welcome to you. Okie from Muskogee Roamer. I like to be a roamer sometimes too, but I don't do too much roaming right now. My budget is limited and I can't get too far from Westchester Medical Center. Every 3 months I got to go there, you know. Let's see here. So, just catching up here. Want to thank Chris and Katina Swatsworth, but they're not here right now, are they? Wednesday is often church night for them. I think when I went to Howells, I was a deacon over there for number of years. We had Tuesday nights. Yeah, I know we had Tuesday nights because afterwards we would go to the Colonial Diner. Colonial Diner, open 24 hours then. That'll never happen again. After COVID, that was the end of that. For a while, they closed at like 8 o'clock at night, but now they close at 10 o'clock at night, earlier if there's nobody around, you know. And so we go to Colonial, a few of us, Pastor Steve and I remember he always had the vegetable soup and a toasted corn muffin with butter and jelly, maybe. I don't know. But that vegetable soup is so good, so good. They don't make it as much as they used to. They make a heck of a chowder over there. They do. New England, especially. New England, they got it down. And then that transforms into a good potato soup, cream of potato soup on Tuesdays sometimes, you know. But I don't go that often, you know. I gotta watch my shekels. Gotta watch my shekels. Miles Wright, how are you? Forget where you are again, Miles. Isn't that terrible? How I just can't remember. But what do you do? Are you retired, Miles? I knew a Auntie Linda Wright. She was wonderful. She was over at Howell's Church, and she was just a special lady who left us too early, probably in her 60s, I think, as I recall. But Auntie Linda Wright, yeah. I don't think the barn will be big enough, says M. Silva. Yeah, right? We'll have a nice picture in the thumbnail of Carpenter Bob Joyce, Pastor Bob Joyce, working on that renovation. But, you know, the bigger church, will it ever happen? I don't feel it will. I don't know why I feel that. I feel they're going to end up in an arena somewhere and just say, well, you know, we would just be better off doing this in Hot Springs and bussing people over because there's established places there and we'll be able to afford them. We'll be able to afford them. So I don't know. That's my theory. That's my theory about that because you know, I mean, when would that be open? 3 years from now at this rate? Or you could hire people that could get it up before the snow flies again, and have a couple of thousand, 3,000 seats. Just a thought. I know it sounds daunting, but it can be done. It can be done. I mean, why should Joel Osteen have this arena that he bought? Why should he? And look at you, Hockey 92, blessing me here. First, I was alluding to the fact that I was thanking Katina and Chris. I'll thank them a number of times for a pre-birthday gift. My birthday is until March 21st, the first full day of spring. Somehow I got ripped off. I think it just used to be March 21st was the first day of spring, period. And now they say March 20th, and the 21st is really the full day, first full day of spring. But look at this weekend coming up. We've got daylight savings time. Not you, Arizona. You'll probably sleep right through it anyway. The heat, you know. I was kidding. Molly B, who has the Molly B polka party on RFD, and she's the most popular woman in polka. It's she and her husband Ted Lang and the guys, and they're from Wisconsin. Wisconsin. I can't say it right. I'm trying to do a Wisconsin accent and just making a fool of myself. I've ruined it. I've ruined it. Shouldn't have had that coffee before I went on. No, I don't drink coffee. We got this new place. We had this wonderful catering hall called Cool's Highland House. Had some great parties there over the years, and they sold it. And Karen and I drove by after visiting. After church, we said, "Well, let's get some shrimp over at the China Star, and some sesame chicken for Andy. Let's get some shrimp with mixed vegetables over at the China Star. Bring that home." And so we had to pass by Cool's Highland House. And there's a big new sign out there because we knew it had closed. And it says Green Mountain Coffee. I mean, that place is so big. They're not just going to, have a little coffee shop. They're going to make the coffee there. They're going to grind the beans and everything. Um, so I thought, wow, Cool's Highland House is turning into Green Mountain Coffee. Well, it's better than storage lockers. It's better than storage lockers. And Brenda, what about those kidney stones? Are no joke. Did you get diagnosed for sure with them? Tess, I have a infection in it. Took my meds. They're gone now. Took them all. I know there's various ways you can get rid of kidney stones. He can try to crush them. He can try to crush the kidney stones. That's one way. I think the guy downstairs had that done. And the doctor told him, I may be successful and I may not. This is not a guarantee that this will work. Mr. Bradshaw, good Wednesday evening to you. Shelley 3? Now she's Shelley 3, or is this another Shelley? And she's letting us know she's not Canadian Shelley. I'm not sure. But anyway, let me thank you, Hockey 92, for hitting the thanks button for 1999. What a wonderful encouragement to me. It just takes a few people doing their part, and when it's newer people, that's great. I'm just excited, whether it's $1, $2, $5, and I don't want to go into a big long rap here. It's just there's a bare minimum I need, and this month I thought, oh boy, am I in trouble? I don't want to think about those things, because my budget is so meager to begin with. I'm not planning any worldwide cruises, or even, I'd love to go on the Jimmy Sturr Polka cruise one year, but I've never been able to afford that. That's not cheap. That's the money people that go on that. It starts at $11.59 a person, $11.59 a person. But that's for the tiniest room with no windows and everything, which is fine. But yeah. My friends Sean and Norma, they became staff on the cruise. So they showed me up good. I love Sean and Norma. They brought me some Polish donuts. Just three. And only one for me, one for Andy, and one for Karen. From Florida, New York, where there's a lot of Polish people. Florida, New York, about 7 miles here. As you come into Florida, either from Warwick, New York, or from Goshen, New York. As you come in, there'll be a big sign that says, welcome to Florida, New York, home of the Polka King, Jimmy Sturr. Yes. I think the bigger he builds or rents, the more people will come. Why would they go to a little country preacher out in Benton, Arkansas? M. Silva, can you give me the skinny? Can you give me the skinny on that? Maybe Todd will tell me. Todd is a very bright, gifted man, and I'm waiting to hear now some emailed tracks. We don't have to play them on the air if you don't want to, and it can't be copyrighted because then I'll run into all kinds of trouble. Don't worry, I'll be talking about the video from X tonight, and I'll tell you what's going on with that. Shelley 3, Jack John. Yes, it's, John Kennedy was called Jack, remember? You said your birthday was March 29th. No, I've never said that. That's not a mistake I would make. There are things I would. Now you're saying March 21st. I don't know where you heard March 29th. Tell me the exact video and the timestamp. um, it's not the kind of mistake I would make. I make other mistakes, you know. What would be a good example? Definitely the mistake of not finishing a story that I started. Not finishing a story that I started. Something else sends me in a different direction than when I watch the replay. And yes, I do. I cringe because I say, I never finished that story. Oh, Dory. Do we have a Dory? We used to have a Dory Hockey 92. But thank you. You got a gold cup there and some kind of animal. And he's all dressed up, more dressed up than I've ever seen Senator Fetterman. I'll tell you what, 1999. That's really wonderful. Thank you very much for hitting the thanks button here. You can do that in the replay as well. Later on, I'll mention the Cash App, should you have Cash App. I'm retired and I live in Georgia. I don't know what the NO stands for. But I know GA is Georgia. How far are you from Stone Mountain, Georgia, for example? Um, and Okie, I don't remember where you're from either. And you've said it a number of times. It's just something that doesn't stick in my brain. It doesn't stick in my brain. But I like the name Okie, and I like the name Romer. Like my shirt that I bought, I wore it last week, I think. It says Drifter. You know, I've got that in me. We've got High Speed Drifter. I don't know if he's here tonight. Don't see him yet. But Jackie Organ is here. I like my Jackie Organ. She plays her mean organ too. She really does. She can do the long version of Light My Fire that Ray did. Ray Mazarek. How do you say his name? He's gone too, right? They're all gone. They're all going on us. Dear, dear, dear. Yeah. You know, I never knew that the original singer of Badfinger took his life like back in 1975. I never knew that. I thought the guy that was on the Happy Together tour was the original voice, but he's not. He's Joey, the lead guitarist, who happens to sing very well, and he sounds like the original lead singer of Badfinger. Imagine that. Sometimes people take their lives over the craziest things, you know. What about this actress who was in Harriet and the Spy, the Rosie O'Donnell movie? She was 39 years old, had already done a number of things. Now, maybe the career had stalled, but you've already done something that a lot of people that are actors and actresses would have liked to have achieved and never get to. They're still waiting tables and they get these little things, you know. But why did she take her life at 39? What was the deal? I don't know. And I don't know how to pronounce her name. It certainly didn't sound like a good name for an actor. So that was probably a mistake, using maybe your real last name when it wasn't catchy. Like Robin Roman. That's a perfect name for an actress. Actress Robin Roman. Yes. Starring in Ghostbusters 6. Hello, Jack and family. Brenda, sorry to hear that you are still under the weather. Still praying. Today is Ash Wednesday. Yes, it is, isn't it? I suppose you can tell. It is Ash Wednesday, and Mark Wahlberg wants you to sign up for his Hallow app and follow along for Lent. He was on with somebody on Fox, wasn't he? Did an interview with somebody, and he says, really, was he giving up for Lent? He didn't really answer that. He says one of the things on his heart is just to do more. And that really spoke to me, you know? Like when I thought about what would I give up for Lent, I came up with the 3 things I most wouldn't want to give up, right? Um, number 2 was pizza. That could dovetail into carbs in general, but pizza. That would be that would be number 2. And number 3 would be, of course, sugar. Sugar. I mean, totally give up. I understand moderation and all that, but totally give up. I wouldn't want to do that. And so I thought I was going to pick of the 3. Notice I'm not mentioning the other one. And God said, no, I think number 1 would be the one. Number 1 would be the thing to work on the most. Yeah, the Lord knows me better than I know myself. I thought it was my choice, but turns out it's his choice. So he went for number 1, and that is totally understandable to me. Todd Bradshaw, 54 times. 54 times. What could be 54 times? I don't give up anything. I try to volunteer. Well, Josie, you can't have your own doctrine. You may not be Catholic. I don't know. um, yes, volunteering is always good. It's always good. I've done some of it in my lifetime, but not enough. Not enough. Miles Wright, I am in Sale Creek. Howdy, neighbor, says Todd Bradshaw. I never knew you were in Sale Creek. I never knew there was a place called Sale Creek. Not spelled like we would think, since we're talking about water. But we're talking, I better keep my voice low. I think Brad went to bed. I didn't cover up the vent, I got to have a little heat up here with this gravity heat. Anybody have gravity heat? No, you don't, because it's from the 50s. Jack, what's that black mark on your forehead? It's black. Now, you are speaking from the Department of Redundancy Department. You always ask interesting questions, Brenda. You always say things I wouldn't expect you to say. That is ashes, of course. It's Ash Wednesday. It's the sign of the cross. So admit a little bit sloppy, but I didn't put it on. The father did. Nice Spanish father that gave a little bit of a homily before we had some prayer at St. Joseph's. Karen has it too. We were there. I was so happy that she came. She's only been to St. Joseph's with me about 3 times. But we sat right next to friends of ours that Christine was in our class at St. Joseph's, which is right next to the church. Just walk across the parking lot. I would love to tour the old school. Some wonderful memories there. Karen has some negative memories of it too, but she had some wonderful times there as well. So that's what we're doing here. It's Ash Wednesday. Number of the Fox reporters, including Brett Baer, had ashes on his forehead today. Martha McCallan did. And somebody else, I can't remember. Oh, well, the McAdams, the reporter. She's a very pretty young lady. Notice how I note that. Now you know what number 1 is. Great reporter. She was covering the anti-Jewish, anti-Semitic college students, if they're even college students, or they bust in, or do they really go somewhere else? Do they even go to college? She was covering that demonstration. See, it's a lot more than just protesting. You're going on the property. You're trying to get in the buildings, going in the buildings. You're intimidating Jew protesters. You're on the sidewalk and what have you. Isn't it a shame, though? In 2025, we have some XYZers, and this is not all of them, but Zers especially, that are such dumbasses that they are filled with hate for Jewish people. You can be against what happened in Gaza, but you can't sugarcoat Hamas. It makes no sense. You seem ridiculous when you do that. Hamas are brutal killers, rapists, torturers, you know. Is Putin also? Yeah, yeah. But you got you gotta be in the middle, as Trump says, and you gotta work out. You gotta try to appease both sides. Everybody gets something. They're not gonna get all their land back because Vladimir Putin is the most powerful superpower in the world with the fastest nukes, the fastest nukes. So you can't have World War III. That might make some people good until their grandchildren were blown up. Then maybe they wouldn't feel so good about it. And not to mention butt, your butt. So you got to be a negotiator. Donald Trump is the very best negotiator, the very best. Not large marges here. Hi, Jack. And how is everyone tonight? I'm up and peppy and feeling very good. Brenda is on the mend, I think. Brenda's a Baptist. You've never seen people with ashes? Where do you live again, Brenda? Pierogi Josie says, I got a big giant black cross this year. The priest was generous. Yes. So we live in a nice part of the country. So YSALE Creek, Todd. If you haven't said it already, I can miss it. Um, that is what is on Jack's forehead, Brenda. 54 times is what? I gotta go real far back. Miles White, I am in Sale Creek. I said that. Let's see here. I'm just looking. I have one on the way, Jack, next week. We're going to get to hear your talent. I would love to, Todd. I really, really would. If it's not a copyrighted song that you're playing, or if it's your copyright and you're willing for us to play it, I should be able to put it up on the channel. It's all up to you. Um, just to hear it off air would be fine too. Whatever you want to do. Why are you Shelley 3? Are you the Shelley from Canada? So when does this new prime minister? I've had enough of Trudeau. When does this new one start? I keep hearing next week. Next week. Is it Monday? Enough of Mr. Trudeau. Let him go be an actor, a model, something like that. Nobody wants to hear what he has to say anymore. Ugh. The truckers whose lives he destroyed sure don't want to hear it. Brenda was in the hospital for 2 days, drank lots of water, used stone blockers. I see. They've got so many different ways now. Where's the thank you button? I don't see it anymore. Well, I can't see it as I do the show. I can only see it when I see the replay. Does anybody else see the thanks button at the bottom of the screen? With a dollar sign next to it. I call it the tip jar because that's what it is. It's a tip jar. You use a credit card, that kind of thing. But I don't know. Does anybody else see it? I'm just looking back here. What the heck is that word, Pierogi Josie? Tipsy? I don't know what that word is. Yeah, Todd's trying to figure out what Shelley. Did I find? Wait a minute. Here's someone, Mrs. Slim Jiggy. Yes. Mr. or Mrs.? Mrs. Slim Jiggy. Are you going to get jiggy with it for us? Hi, Mrs. Slim Jiggy. Welcome. I'm glad I didn't miss you. Almost did. And thanks again, Hockey 92, for the 1999. As I go back, Todd has highlighted, and he knows that my car is orange, and I always will be attracted to orange, black, although not here. Black is not a good highlighting here, of course, because our background is black, but red, gold, the Trump colors. I want my Trump sneakers, not the high tops. But if they're not high tops, they don't look cool, right? Because the T is not highlighted. Yeah. Yes, Mr. Slim Jiggy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. um, Trump, 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 Trump. Well, I guess we know Shelley. Now, why did we add the number 3, Shelley? Often you've been Shell, you've been Mrs. Crabtree. I remember you were Mrs. Crabtree for a long time. Um, Bolivian. I bet it's gorgeous. Bolivian? I'm doing this without any kind of glasses on. Number 3, my date of birth. My date of birth. Was that the 3rd month or the 3rd day in some month? I don't know. Where are you from, Mr. Slim Jiggy? Oh, you gave me a TU. Tupelo, right? Tupelo? Mississippi? Could it be? Who could it be now? Who could it be now? The 3rd day of what month? Shelley 3. Shelley 3. USA, USA, USA. Trump rules. So, I have a video up. Please watch it. Please watch the video I did at released about 10 minutes to 8 tonight, talking about we might have witnessed the end of the Democratic Party as we know it last night. Democrats from 20 years ago would be totally disgusted. Joaquin Jeffries he could not lead an ant colony. He has nothing. He's just not capable of being the leader, the minority leader. If he had an ounce of common sense, he would have said, if we sit here on our dumb asses as a young boy who was supposed to die of cancer 2 years ago is getting his Secret Service badge. If we sit here, and then Rachel Maddow tries to turn it into a sideshow spectacle. Forget it, Rachel. Your glory days are behind you. But, Hakeem should have thought, just for self-preservation, if he doesn't have a decent bone in his body, if we sit here and don't stand and applaud that young man, we are destroying ourselves. And he sat there, and they all sat there. The older women looking like they've been playing bingo for 100 years with the half rolled down stockings, kerchief or curlers in their hair, and a cigarette out of their mouth, dangling out of their mouth. I mean, my God. And then the young progressives, I mean, at least Jasmine Crockett is an attractive woman, but that's only on the outside. That's only on the outside. There she was dancing in the hall later, and she's, they talk about running her for president. Oh, please do. You and Tim Walz, huh? There's a ticket. There's a ticket. You have Democrats now. I mean, you have Democratic strategists. I can't say the word, Todd. Could you say it for me? Strategist. Saying on CNN and MSNBC, we're not going to take it back in 2 years. No way. No way. And they're pointing out the various things. Is Christari here? Really? How are you, Christari? God bless you. We've been praying for you. Hello, everybody. I'm going to end up passing out. I had brain surgery today, and you're on here now. Or we'll see how bad it's going to be. I had a dream come up, and then I got problems. I had a dream come up, and then I had problems going on with the kidney, liver, and such. The fact that you can type it all, Christari, don't wear yourself out. Don't wear yourself out. God bless you. I just pray for Christari. Everybody now just had at least part of a tumor in her brain today. Lord, we just pray for her that you would just envelop her with your presence. You are the great physician. You are the great healer. That she would begin to feel this tremendous touch of the Holy Spirit all throughout her body, that her head would become filled with the awareness of your love and the awareness of your power to heal, and that you're doing it right now. We just pray for Christari for total healing for her. From the top of her head to the soles of her feet. She has multiple things in her body, but nothing's too big for you. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen. Anytime I start complaining about my life, I think about what others have had to deal with, and I just feel foolish. I just feel foolish. I'll let you know, guys, everything as soon as I find out. Please keep the prayers going. We will do that. We will do that. That's the wonderful thing about Worldwide Ramblings here. It's a family, Um, it just grew into that more and more as we did that. Trust me, I'm not typing. I can only talk, and it's not correct either. I see. So that's how you do it. Yeah, people do it that way as well. Sure. Paraplegics obviously do that. So keep praying for Dennis Prager, who from Salem Broadcasting, and of course Prager University, the man who founded Prager University. He's still in the hospital. He had just a fall in his house, hit his head a certain way, damaged the spine, not destroyed it, but damaged it to the point where he's basically can't move from his shoulders on down. And he's been in the hospital for a few months now. He was on the air from noon to 3 p.m. on Salem, followed by Sebastian Gorka. Well, there's got to be job openings there because Sebastian Gorka now is the Gorka who was on Fox for the first time in a long time. All the people that were on Newsmax and weren't seen on Fox anymore are now back because they have cabinet positions, and they just got a big terrorist last night. And so Sebastian Gorka was on with Jesse Waters, and he used to be on 3 to 5, 3 to 6. So the whole afternoon lineup over at Salem Network ended up in the cabinet. And then they've got to pull somebody. I hope they've already done it. I'm going to check this out. Dennis Franz from the Cincinnati radio station, who used to fill in for Sebastian all the time. The closest thing to Rush Limbaugh you will get. He sounds like him. He can sound just like him if he wants to, but he tries not to. I can tell he tries not to. And especially when he talks slow like Rush did. Rush talked very methodically. Talent on loan from God. With one hand tied behind my back, just to make it fair. Man, how I miss Rush Limbaugh. To have these times, I mean, we went through 4 years of hell with Joseph R. Biden, who just went into a restaurant the other night in Washington, D.C. He's back in Washington right now, and hardly anybody knew him. He's got the Secret Service with him, of course, but he's going to get that, and he's going to get a lot of anger from the people who figured out who Joseph R. Biden really is. Sad. I used to like Middle Class Joe. I thought he was really, Amtrak Joe. I thought, well, he doesn't seem like he's too bright, but he's all right. He's a good-natured chap. I totally misjudged that man. Totally misjudged him. All that time he was accumulating wealth. I better have some water. Did I bring it over? Yes, I did. Robin Roman. Marty's here? Is he really? I haven't seen. Marty, supposedly the last time I talked to Marty, he had made pretty much a full recovery. Yeah, Christari, I'll tell you, I can't tell you I know how you feel because even though I had cancer of the appendix, they got it all. It was confined to the appendix. So I was very fortunate. That was back in 2012, and it was 2013 when they told me that there was cancer in the appendix. Yeah, I don't know. We haven't seen Marty. I hope he didn't relapse. That's what I was worried about with Marty. I hope he didn't relapse. Star, I just sent you an email. If you want to send a picture of the tumor or show a picture of the tumor, it was 2.4 centimeters times 2.0 centimeters. It's in your email, huh? Let's see. We heard from Pam Donnelly. We heard from Father Rocky. He's with Relevant Christian Radio. That's a Catholic radio network. I kind of signed up for that. I have something from Lone Star, Maryland. Oh, that's what that is? That looks like a face with a mustache? Now I didn't even know. Isn't that interesting? It looks like a mean man in a potato skin. In a potato. I don't know. Let's see if we can do this. Anytime I try to put up something when we're live, it's always touch and go. Let's go back to the live stream. Hopefully that didn't mess with anything. There you go. My goodness. Faith Lloyd is here. Hi, Jack and everybody. About got blown away by the wind. I've had that experience. We've had so many windy days here in the month of February. And well, March came in like a lion, but then calmed down to lamb status, 48 degrees right now, which, is, to me, I think we're going to be in the 60s this weekend. And that could be my first gazebo day. I'm excited about that. Yeah, I've been having problems, says Christari. I haven't got to get on the show the last few weeks. Well, I think we can excuse you. You did have things going on. I started having brain problems, to be honest, and just problems, and I couldn't comprehend things. That's got to be so scary. So scary. Well, thank you, Shelley 3. Who knows what you'll be next time? What will you be on Saturday night? Shelley Daniels, perhaps? I circled the 21st, but had an appointment on the 29th. I see. Thank you, because I know what kind of mistakes I make, and saying my birthday was March 29th is not one that I would tend to do. So I'm going to email Marty So we'll see how he's doing. So I'll have a report on Saturday night. I hope he didn't relapse. Other things can happen. People get busy. It's not like I expect everybody to make a lifetime commitment to worldwide ramblings. But it's great that we have so many loyal people that keep coming back and keep coming back. I've been meaning to do some pop-ons at odd hours to try to add to the family. Notice when I do the pre-recorded videos, um, I I mention a solid Wednesday, Saturday. If I can't be here for some reason, got something going on, I'll do a pre-recorded and have it. I use the word premiere. It could be a premiere at 10 o'clock on Wednesday or Saturday night, that kind of thing. Um, so there you go. We got snow rain mix, huh? Tomorrow in Detroit, Rock City. Yeah, I wish I could play that song now by Kiss. The Gene Simmons band is out there, and the Ace Frehley band is out there. Both of them are on tour with their own band now. Gene Simmons is not the type not to be out there, not to be doing things. He loves the adulation. Shelley 3 has shown us a bunch of teddy bears because is Ted here? I don't know. Tedward, are you here? Yeah, where is Sam Sammy? Where is Sam Sammy? I was thinking that Saturday night. But again, people have stuff to do. And Wednesday night, we don't see Richard here. I don't see him so far. Well, there's Nancy DeMarco. Hello, Jack and family. Going to have to let me talk about that a little bit since Nancy DeMarco is here. You know that I did a video that is doing very well still, and it's only 5 minutes long. Look at my channel. Bob Joyce sings Elvis again to Walina. This goes back to a Saturday special, Saturday fellowship, probably not promoted too much. It was known for the church family. And I'm going to go to that email. So we're coming in on 3,500 views for that video from 2 days ago. Bob sings Elvis again to Walina. So let me go to my email if I can find that. And yeah, I'm on X right now. So Mickey Larson Olson posted a video, and she's quite a character who's got a story. Yeah, so I learned a little bit about Mickey Larson Olson. Mickey, if you should be watching, we'd love it if you'd put that video back up, because I got a bunch of people here that want to see it, and you took it down, I guess, right? Because I can't find it now. They can't find it. And it's really you that's got to put it up because you shot it. I'm not going to rip off the video. There's also could be a problem, especially since I'm monetized. I assume you might be monetized on X. You'd have to be. I don't know how that works over at X. I'm not on X. But you put up a video of, I guess that your friend shot it at Household of Faith on Saturday, February 15th, where Bob Joyce sings "The Wonder of You" to Miss Walina. During service, we cannot record, she wrote. The video was taken at fellowship on Saturday, February 15th. February 15th. This is Bob Joyce singing to his beautiful, sweet, phenomenal wife, Walina. We all got hearts with chocolate candies, too. I always love spending time with my amazing church family at Household of Faith. So there's pictures, and you can see that in the video, the 5-minute video. And the thumbnail is a thumbnail of that very day where Bob sang The Wonder of You, one of my favorite Elvis songs. He doesn't, he doesn't do the whole song really, and it's a casual delivery. Um, it'd be totally different if he was singing to, say, the original track of it, and he was standing up in a recording studio. It would be better, but it's okay. It's okay. It's fine. And Miss Walina got a kick out of it. And so I said to myself, I'm just going to do a video pointing you to Mickey's video because I can get the copyright strike 3 ways to Sunday there, and I don't want to risk the channel for it as much as I would like to. But I was given the video. I have the video, and I have an email. It's Jack the Fair Guy, Fair, Jack the Fair Guy at gmail.com. I would have to have Andy help me with this because I always screw things up and just email a bunch of people, And then you know what's going to happen? Someone's going to put it up on their channel and get 1 million views, and everybody will leave them alone. That's what happens to me. That's the kind of thing. So it'll take a while before I'm ready to do that. Maybe by this weekend, I don't know. But if you tell me you want to see it, I just might send it to you, privately. You know what I'm saying? All right. Jack the Fair Guy at gmail.com. Jack, tell us about the barn. Well, I'm going to put the one in the thumbnail, which is the newest one, Did I think to put that? I must have put that somewhere. As to how close they are, they've talked about July, but I think they're going to beat that by a long shot. I think they're going to beat that by a long shot. Let's see here. I know who sent me that now. I know. It's a cake. Bunk, 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 bunt. There's a hole in this cake. Yes. Favorite lines from movies. What are your favorite lines from movies? I must put it on my phone. I must have. Don't see it. You'll see it in the thumbnail, though, I promise. The thumbnail of this video. Back to live stream. You can handle the truth. That's a good one, Shelley. You picked a good one. So the other day, Karen was having neck pain, kind of severe, she's got stenosis. So we were going to go to the urgent care where her neurologist is. And as we were about to go in, the woman coming out said, they just told me it's a 3 hour wait. It's packed in there. In other words, it's COVID city in there. If you're going to get COVID, it's going to be in a place like that. And so we didn't do that. She says, well, I want to go to the garden show. I said, garden show. It's March 1st, I think, at the point. March 1st, 2nd, and they're having a garden show. It's 3 more weeks of winter. That's what Punxsutawney Phil said. So I said, oh, no way, no garden show. So within 5 minutes, there we were at the Adams Custom Landscape Designs, the garden show. And I must admit it was very beautiful. It was very beautiful. She said she wasn't going to buy anything. And, she actually didn't. She didn't buy anything. Here's a cool picture at the garden show. It had a Renaissance feel to it. Keep in mind, there were people in costume. Here's Karen. Here's Karen. The sun was shining on her, as it always does. As it always does. Had a beautiful waterfall. A beautiful waterfall. Adams Fairacre Farms Garden Show in the town of Walk Hill, New York. There you go. Yes, Tess lost her husband. She's saying he passed 2 days before our 25th anniversary. I'll be your Huckleberry tombstone. What the heck does that mean? Todd, let's see here. Oh, dear. Look at that. I go to my email, and Todd Bradshaw, who's going to be Huckleberry's 92's tombstone, Todd Bradshaw, hit the Cash App for $30. I love Sale Creek. Please show me pictures. I would love to see some pictures of Sale Creek. The Sale Creek, this is for the Sale Creek T-shirt fund. Todd Bradshaw. I only have one Todd Bradshaw. He's incredible, and I always tell him, I've told him many times, never feel obligated to do that. But there he is again. Thank you, Todd, very, very much. $30 on the Cash App for the I Love Sale Creek. Sale as in if you're making a sale, money is exchanging hands. I Love Sale Creek T-shirt fund. Thank you so much, Todd. Oh, dear. Cash App is, if you have it and like to make any size tip, $2, $3, $5, $10, or more. If you're one of those blessed people out there and want to make it so I don't have to think about this stuff so often, and you've been watching me maybe for years, been on since January of 2016, started doing Bob Joyce videos in January of 2018. Cash App would be the way to go. I get more of it when you use Cash App, but I'm very thankful to Google/YouTube for the thanks button because that helps too. That helps too, and that's been real low lately. So I'm excited to see $2 on the thanks button. Don't think, well, that's not enough. It is. It is. If that's what you can do, that's just fine with me. That's just fine. Jody Smith, when she's here, often hits it for 99 cents as a motivation type thing, So thank you. Well, here he is, Marty Greco, and we thought he had been lost in space and was now playing the role of John Robinson, signed to be the star of the show. Marty Greco playing John Robinson, and then all of a sudden they add the character of Dr. Zachary Smith. And even though you were Zorro, Marty, in a previous role, you are now screwed because everybody wants more and more Dr. Zachary Smith insulting the robot and working with your son, Bill Mooney, Will Robinson, who just turned 70 years old. So that was a bad break for you. But as Jonathan Harris, who played Dr. Zachary Smith, said, um, uh, I don't know what I would have done if I was signed to be the star of the show and someone grabbed the spotlight. I felt terrible about it, Jonathan Harris said. But Guy Williams stayed for the whole 3.5 years. He stayed and took the money, which was smart because after that he retired basically from Hollywood. He said goodbye to Hollywood, and he went back to Argentina, where because of the role of Zorro, it was like King Charles had come back home. He was royalty over there. The government gave him a beautiful apartment for free on the water. And everywhere he went, he started making appearances. He grew back his little Zorro mustache. He was a god over there in Argentina because of Zorro, not because of Lost in Space, but because of Zorro. And so Jonathan Harris saw Guy Williams standing over by himself once, and he just felt so bad. He said, "Guy, I just wanted to say, I think that you and I could have been really good friends, and now I know there's no way. And I just want to tell you how bad I feel about that." Uh, and Guy Williams looked at him and said, "Okay, I've had enough of that." And he walked away. And Jonathan Harris says, "At that point, I wanted to kill myself." He didn't need that from me. Big mistake. I just wanted to kill myself after that. Well, welcome back, Marty. Did you relapse, or you probably have been busy too? That happens, and we don't expect you, not to have a life. Everything okay now with your health, Marty Greco? Hmm? Let's see here. Yeah. Well, Nancy, I know I already have your email, so we're good there. I'll do a mass email if I get a lot of requests on that. I'm looking forward, says Robin Roman, to daylight savings time. Me too. More hours of sunshine. After this January and February, it really, it brought me down. But then when things like Christari and Marty Greco, you say, "Oh, stop your whining, Jack. So it's cold and you can't go sit in the gazebo, or, you don't really have the money to shoot down to Florida this year, et cetera, et cetera. Stop your whining because look what other people are going through." Then I look at the reels on Facebook that lovely young blonde woman. What the heck is her name? It begins with SYN, and she's got cancer, and they told her she's going to be on chemotherapy indefinitely. And but she's responding to it. So how do they know indefinitely if she's responding to it? And others that you see on there. That there was a woman named Bailey, not the Bailey you're thinking about with Tourette's. No, another Bailey something or other who was doing all these videos. Another very pretty young lady doing her videos, updating you on what's going on with her cancer. And then her boyfriend got on there a few weeks ago and said she had passed away. Yeah, it's just so sad, you know. So I am too, Robin Roman. I'm looking forward to daylight savings time and staying light to at least 7 o'clock at the start. That's this weekend. So Sunday evening will be the first time. And Arizona, this does not apply to you because you never changed the clock. I understand Arizona, you know. I mean, it's got to be tragic enough that you live in such a dull place. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure there's many beautiful places. I've never been to Phoenix. I remember we stopped in Flagstaff on a Greyhound bus. Flagstaff. And I got off the bus and the heat knocked me back into the bus as I got off the bus. It was very, very hot, but it's a dry heat. But so that was the story I didn't finish. Anybody live in a village? It's like a village. Um, Molly B was going to do an Arizona tour, like 3 different places, and so I commented in her video. I said, "Well, now we have 2 reasons to go to Arizona: Molly B and Nancy Barrett." That's Carolyn Stoddard Collins from the original Dark Shadows series. That's Nancy Barrett right there when she was a youngin'. She's like 80, 81 now. And I have a picture of her older too over there. Um, but she lives in Phoenix in a retirement community. She's been married 3 times. Her last 2 husbands, all 3 husbands are dead. All 3 husbands are dead. Jack, it's 3 p.m. on Thursday afternoon here where I live in Australia. Australia. Yeah, I forget that, Jackie. So what's the temperature there right now? And what's going on in Australia? Just looking back, sometimes I miss stuff, you know. Don't mean to. It's obviously it's not always addressed to me, obviously, but yeah, it's another good one, Shelley 3. Show me the money. I gotta admit, you hit 2 really good ones. Hope Brenda says, hope Karen is feeling better now. Well, I got her some heating pads, you know, those things you buy that you put on for like 16 hours or whatever. And that helped. But I don't know. This is touch and go, you know. She's not to the point where they would want to do surgery, and surgery is risky. So, you know, ever since I've known her, she's had pain issues. Ever since I've known her. When I came here, I was 54 years old and she was 53. And now I'm turning 69. So, you know, we're in our 15th year together now. We're in our 15th year together. So, already more than double my second wife, the span of my second marriage. And not as long as my first wife. That was 17 years. That was 17 years before I heard, hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. The movie Tombstone. Yeah. Now, who was in that movie? Sam Elliott? I just took a wild shot. Sounds like a Sam Elliott movie, you know? It's a good thing Sam Elliott found a career on the big screen, because if he didn't, he would have been a porn star. Same thing for the vice president. Did I say that? Did I say that? So I'm glad you're here. Now I see it, Marty hijacking everyone. COPD. Yeah, the guy downstairs has that. Not that I'm supposed to say that, but That Eliquis seems to do pretty well for that, and the Camzyos is wonderful drug, excuse me, for the cardiomyopathy that I have. They're supposed to be sending me a home study. If it gets lost in the mail, I may forget to email and say I never got it. But Dr. Naidu, he said to me, uh, all I was trying to tell him is if there was ever a time when I had to have another procedure down there, because I've had two, once when they put the defibrillator in and once when I went to the cath lab. I don't really have anybody that can get me to and from the hospital that's going to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and drive over here to get me down there for 6 o'clock in the morning or whatever. I don't really have anybody. Karen is way too nervous to do that. She can drive locally, but she's not going to be driving around Westchester. No. So I had a dear friend, but I've already imposed on him twice, and I don't want to do it a third time. So that's all I was saying. I was just curious if there was ever going to be a need. Eventually, you have to put another battery in the defibrillator, but that's years away probably. And but he was saying, somebody from Los Angeles came to see me yesterday. They flew here to Los Angeles from Los Angeles to see me. This guy, is big time. He says, but it's always the people that live like 40, 50 miles away that I hear about this from. And I said it all with a smile on my face. I know I'm very fortunate to have Dr. Naidu as my cardiologist, Sahari Naidu, who wrote that book on cardiomyopathy, Lindsay's Big Heart. It's for children with cardiomyopathy, but it can apply to anybody. You can find it on Amazon. Sahari Naidu, Naidu is Naidu. So, so there's that. Let's see. We have 48 watching right now. You did it again, Shelley 3. Shelley 3, you're 3 for 3. There's no place like home. Yeah, you don't have to say The Wizard of Oz. I think we all saw the movie, Shelley 3. I understand you're adding it. But yeah. Now you got me thinking I got to come up with something, other than there's a hole in this cake. Oh, there are quite a few from Big Fat Greek Wedding. What's the one from one of my top 3 favorite movie stars that says he hates us MAGA people? Where apparently we can't touch, we don't want to touch a black person's hand. He says, we're a bunch of racist us MAGA people. So that must mean that we don't like black people. I wonder what Leo Terrell, who's very black and happens to be a big hero of mine, who you see on Fox News. I haven't seen enough of Leo lately. I hope he's okay and no falling out or anything. General Colin Powell, Denzel Washington, all heroes of mine. I think I would be more than happy to shake their hand without getting the heebie-jeebies. So that's what we really took offense with, when he portrays the simpleton MAGA guy on Jeopardy. It's not like we don't have a sense of humor, but we can tell, Tom Hanks, that you genuinely hate our guts. And since you have a lot of MAGA fans, you hurt us. It was a real gut punch. And you couldn't man up and say, oh, maybe that was over the line. And, you got these other projects that are now iffy because you did that, because it turns out there was quite a few fans of yours that happen to love Donald Trump. And you basically just kicked us in the crotch. And so what can I say? You had a chance to make it right. Hi, Katina Swatsworth. I got your your gift. I did. Thank you very, very much for you and Chris. I won't say anything else except thank you, and I'll express that in the mail myself. Um, but got that today. That was very nice. Early birthday gift because my birthday is until March 21st, the first full day of spring. I have What's Up Doc on V HS. Are you talking Ryan O'Neal and Barbara Streisand? I think the movie is hilarious. I remember laughing out loud to that movie, Todd Bradshaw. I do. I laughed out loud to see. I don't like Barbara Streisand as a person, but I would not deny her talent. Evergreen is one of the most beautiful vocals I've ever heard in a pop song. You know, and obviously the way we were. Stony End is a little anti-Christian, I suppose. If you, I, I believed in the good book Jesus till I read between the lines. Well, did she ever believe in the good book Jesus? But she, yet you can find her doing Christmas songs, religious Christmas songs. So hi, Katina Swatsworth. Thank you, thank you, Chris, as well. Hello, J Cat. What's going down with you? Um, cats were meant to give you fever, be it Fahrenheit or centigrade. Why are you J Cat? Have you been on the prowl? Have you? Have you been on the prowl? Maybe in your younger days? I have no idea how old you are now. I mean, Jake Judy, he's young. He's relatively young. Houston, we have a problem. So that wasn't a movie, right? That's where we first heard that. She's on a roll here. She's in her own little world here, and that's a good one. That's a good one. Um, you forgot a real big one, but that's only because Al Pacino. Somebody say it. Somebody say the biggest line Al Pacino ever spoke. I know you could do it, Todd, for sure. I bet you Tess could. Yep, there's another great one from Mr. Hanks. Made you think of Tom Hanks. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. I'm working the second shift now. So you're a young man of 53. I see. What do you do on the second shift there, Todd? Say hello to my little friend. Is the biggest line that Al Pacino ever spoke in a movie from, of course, oh yeah, that movie. You know the movie. That scares me. What do you do on the second shift, J-Cat? Tony Montana said that, didn't he? Yes, he did. Great lines. Absolutely, Todd. Great lines. How about De Niro? Yes, I know what you're saying. There's a funny video where he's doing a skit with that became a major movie star with the dark hair Bill. What the heck is the last name? Uh, he's doing a character. He's interviewing him. He's like maybe it's a Spanish accent he's doing, and he's got Robert De Niro on. Good night, everyone already, huh? I'll watch the replay tomorrow. Well, I'm so glad you're stopping by. Thank you to you. Thank you to Chris from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much, Katina. Even when we passionately speak on a topic, she never holds a grudge or anything like that. Um, she never does that. We always, continue on as friends and a valued member here, who's a beautiful woman with a handsome husband, and just like Jill and her husband. Where is Jill? Where are you, Jill? So thank you, Katina. Thank you. I know you really will watch the replay, and I'm so happy. Thank you. Well, that's a classic line, right? Robin Roman. And when they said that line, when Clark Gable spoke that line, everybody in the audience, the theater, oh, because, they didn't use that kind of language back then. But absolutely. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. that was a big, that was a big thing back then. Yeah. Very, very good. Um, maybe not as prominent, but certainly a good, memorable line from a movie was Tom Hanks saying to Leo DiCaprio's mother, he played what, Frank something or other, the real life character who really did was an excellent forger, uh, and he said in that Boston accent, which I can't copy, he said to Leo DiCaprio's mother in the movie, "Your son's been forging checks. Your son's been forging checks." ah, Frank Abagnale, correct, J Cat. No, Abagnale. I'm sorry. That's right, Frank Abagnale. Absolutely right. How many times have I seen that movie? Oh man, I would have stepped in front of a car for Tom Hanks. Then I find out he hates my guts. That just doesn't seem fair, you know? He he thinks I'm trash and I love him. That just is that's wrong. Dolly Parton's husband Carl Dean died. Yes, just passed away. That's right. I saw that story. And how many decades? He was kind of, I don't know if he was like her manager. I know Loretta Lynn's husband was kind of like her manager. Catch Me If You Can. Seen it, I don't know, 30 times, Marty Greco. You're completely well now? I may have missed that. You didn't have a relapse, did you? Notting Hill, oh, another favorite. I Love You, Grant is a funny, lots of deadpan humor as only Mr. Grant can do it. That's why his movies are now closing in at a take of $2 billion. $2 billion. And I just found something fascinating. I've told everybody, watch the movie Heretic, rent it. It's only like, now it's only like $6, $7 on Amazon Prime. And it's on, I think it's moved over to HBO Max now, but great movie. And I found out that now that he's a mega star who only does the movies he wants to do, he often writes his own dialogue. He writes his own dialogue. He totally changes it. And that's going to be in his contract that if he wants to do that, as long as there can be a meeting of the minds, obviously, if he writes something dumb, that would be different. But he often changes the dialogue, and that is exactly what Jonathan Harris did on Lost in Space as it pertained to him. He wrote all the long berating lines to the robot and what the robot would say back to him and what he and Will would say about the whole situation. He wrote all of that. He was given permission to do it. He says, he said, I didn't fancy myself a writer, but I'm a wonderful rewriter. I understand that. I am well. Well, I'm so happy, Marty, because you've been to hell and back. You've been to hell and back. I mean, did you think you were going to die at some point, Marty? Did you think this was just not something you were going to recover from? I would have thought that. I would have thought that. Yeah. You're going to need a bigger boat. Jaws. Very good, Todd Bradshaw. Oh, there's another good one that you reminded me from Mr. Robert Shaw. I don't know whether it was one, two, or three, but who did he say this line to? It's no lover's kiss. It's no lover's kiss. I don't know what it was in relation to what he was referring to. If the shark bites you, I guess, right? It's no lover's kiss. Hmm. The problem is not the problem. The problem is your attitude about the problem. Where was that from, Tess? That's great. I've heard that line. Oh, we're not going to call him evil. Just dumb, right? He's misinformed, Shelley. Um, he's done some of the most wonderful movies ever. Very talented. Um, so he's just, he don't get it. He don't get it. He's got everything arse backwards. That's what Hugh Grant would say. It's arse backwards. See Notting Hill, which I've seen 50 times. What could I say from that movie? Certainly a good line is when he says, "Would you mind if I said no to you?" He says to Julia Roberts. "Would you mind if I said no to you?" That's something she'd be used to hearing. Um, to his flatmate, wonderful actor. What's his name? The blonde guy who played. Can't think of it. British actor, wonderful. There never will be any. There never will be any clothes until you actually do your laundry. Yeah. Oh, there's so many good scenes in Notting Hill. And so, have you seen that reel on Facebook where Hugh Grant is going to give an award, a Lifetime Achievement Award? They picked him. Boy, they picked the wrong person to do that because it's the Writer's Award, Lifetime Achievement, something like that. And they picked Hugh Grant to give it to him. And he said, very at the start of my career, my agent finally came to me with a good script, and I was excited. I went to the audition, and I have to say, I was pretty good. And the director thought so and wanted me. The money people thought so and wanted me. The executive producer wanted me. There was only one person that didn't want me at all and did everything in his power to keep me from getting the role. The writer. And it is that a-hole who we are here to honor tonight. That is a classic clip. You got to watch it. Then they put the camera on the writer. And the other funny story from Four Weddings and a Funeral is he did that movie and was now doing other movies. I think I told this one already, was that someone asked, well, I think it was Graham Norton, I think, or the other guy. I always confused the two, from Britain, who said, "Were your parents supportive of your career?" And he said, "In the beginning, no, not at all, not at all. They wanted me to be the something like the Bishop of Canterbury." And to tell you the truth, I haven't really given up on that. I know what he means by that too. That has a certain fascination to him. It would to me too. And he says, but my brother uh, became the president of a bank, and this gentleman is talking to her and says, "So you have two sons, right?" And she says, "Yes, two sons." And he says, "Well, what do they do?" She says, "Well, one is the president of a bank, and the other is a film star." He says, "Oh, that's very interesting. That's very interesting. What bank?" Oh, that's you, Grant, got such a kick out of that. That'll lower your ego a little bit, right? Hi, Mark D. Traver. Hello, my friend. Well, welcome. It's been a while. Um, so you're not Travers. You're not related to Mary Travers, who passed away, of course. You're Traver. And where are you from? You've probably told me. Oh yeah, there's like 3 or 4 lines when Harry met Sally, right? I'll let you have a crack at that. That's a big one, Robin. Oh, I'll have what she's having, which was the mother of Billy Crystal. Yeah, he got his mother into that movie, even though she was going to sit there and watch. Um, um, what's her name? The blonde M. Pretend to, yeah. Pitson, huh? Pittston. Now that sounds like a British. You're somewhere in Europe. If you tell me you're in Louisiana, I'm not sure I'm going to believe it. Pittston, huh? Meg Ryan, of course, of course. Ah, jeez. Do I need prevision? Prevision? PA, really? So how far would Pittston be from Dingman's Ferry or Milford, Pennsylvania? Hmm. I can get to Matamoros in about 30 minutes. Matamoros, Pennsylvania in 30 minutes. If I go faster on 84, little little less than that. Oh, well then, Mark, I want to meet you on the 5th of I want to meet you on the 5th of April. Can you come see us over at the Mohegan Sun in Wilkes-Barre? It's going to be in the afternoon to see the 18-time Grammy winner, Mr. Jimmy Sturr. This will be filmed for the Service Electric Television Network, which you can get online too. It'll be filmed for future shows. It's not live, but they'll get 2 shows out of what he does in Wilkes-Barre. And we'll be there along with Sean and Norma. We're not going to stay overnight. I believe, but we'll be there. And if you're anywhere near it and free, come on over and say, I'm Mark D. Traver. I'd love to meet you. Just for look for all the garbage around you'll find in Pennsylvania. Why are they on strike? I like Wilkes-Barre. I've been to various parts. Last time we went to Gianotti's in Wilkes-Barre. Well, very nice place, and they had a restaurant down the street from Gianotti's because they only had like snacks for this polka event when it was at Gianotti's, pierogies and hot dogs and things like that. But we had a lovely meal down the road, and then we ate a little bit over at Gianotti's and had a drink. They had a nice bar. But that's Saturday, the 5th of April in the afternoon. I should be back in time to do Worldwide Ramblings. Should be. Yeah. I kept my eyes closed through most of the movie. Tess is saying to Shelley 3. Luke, I am your father. Shelley she's really hitting them tonight. So that's it, huh? Next to Wilkes-Barre. Well, I'm glad to see that your Senator Fetterman is recovered, and we hope he stays that way. He actually wore the hoodie into the Oval Office. Give me a break. Even Elon put a suit on for the speech last night. Yes, yes. Silence of the Lambs, says Tess. Absolutely. Yeah, have you ever played the slots there at Mohegan Sun? I think they have a Ruth Chris steakhouse. That's a kind of high end for my budget. Sean Hannity goes to Ruth Chris and used to do their commercials. I sure did watch Trump on TV. I would agree with Hannity that it's one of the best speeches he ever gave, and it lasted 2 hours. And, I have a video up here. I hope you'll watch it there, Mark. So I go to my list. It's not setting the night on fire like if I had Bob Joyce as the subject. The night the Democratic Party died. I think that's what happened last night. I think with their reaction, not reacting to boy who has cancer getting the Secret Service credentials, and the mother and sister of Laken Riley. They just sat there on their hands. They are an embarrassment to great Democrats like Ted Kennedy and George McGovern, and many from the past who would be horrified at the current group headed by Hakeem Jeffries. I don't mean to have hate spewing from me, but these people are pathetic, and every single one of them needs to go. And I think, as I talk about in this video, the night the Democratic Party died, I think a lot of them will not be back after that. You got to be pretty stupid to vote for any of those people that were sitting on their hands or holding up their little pickleball paddles. My goodness. So I thought it was wonderful. I thought his list of the money was being spent for showed and justified what Elon has been doing. They can make a mistake, though, and have to take it back or fund it through a different agency. You don't want to hurt people that have real needs, but you don't want to be giving $7 million for 8 million, or was it more, for a study on transgender mice? Transgender mice. Yes, some of the Test J, some of the Anthony Hopkins lines from Silence of the Lambs. Yeah, poor kitty has cancer, and they never even clap for him. Diabolical people, soulless people. Joaquin couldn't lead an ant colony, and he's the minority Speaker of the House. And then to have Rachel Maddow come on. I just saw a minute and a half of this clip. They put him on Fox, Like, sometimes I want to say, if I wanted to watch The View, I'd watch The View. I don't really want to see a clip of them, But I'm too much of a lady to even comment on the Democrats. They didn't used to be like that. George McGovern, 1972. What a wonderful man. I wore my McGovern button proudly. What's the old saying? If you're not a Democrat by the time you're 30, you don't have a heart. If you're not a Republican by the time you're 40, you don't have a brain. I like that. Christari is still here. God made you perfect. But a work in progress, nevertheless. He's working on the building, and I have to be working on the building, I have to want construction to be done in my life. He won't force it on me usually. I like to take those pickleball paddles and put them somewhere. Where would you put them? In your closet? What would Mr. Gray do with the paddles? He'd say, no, thank you. Well, maybe AOC. Oh, stop it. I didn't mean to say that. I'm sorry, Mark D. Trevor. She wasn't even there. Yeah, you like that stuff. That was pretty funny stuff, all that money. I like that they exposed all that stuff, because it explained why this is so necessary, because you got people like Jeffries and other progressives. They're not really Democrats. They don't represent the constituents. He did such a wonderful job exposing and debunking the idea that what Elon is doing is bad when it's very good. It's very good. That doesn't mean he couldn't make a mistake, though, and unfund something that needs to be funded. So I love the Pocahontas line. I love when she the only time they applauded is when he mentioned that they had spent billions on the Ukraine. For what? It's a bombed out shell, except for Kiev, or Kiev, as we used to say. But he says, Pocahontas likes that. J.D. Vance thought that was very funny, as did the Speaker of the House. Yeah, that's a great line too, Shelley. I love Austin Powers. Or the other word is rendy. Do I make you rendy? That's what they say in Britain, apparently. Show me the money. Yes, someone said that. That's a good one. That's a good one. Um, so I think we have the best cabinet that I've ever seen in my lifetime in there. I love them, love them, love them. I don't think I've ever been more proud. I mean, Martha McCallan did a good job. She was the press secretary, right? I always confuse her with the other one. Yeah, Martha McCallan. But I mean, Caroline Levitt is a spitfire. She's just incredible. I mean, you won't put, they ask much better questions now. They get much better answers, and they ask more detailed. It seems like they've changed up some of the reporters. There's better reporters in there now, and of course, there's going to be Caitlin Collins with her gotcha question, but she gets put in her place every time. She's a special kind of annoying, Caitlin Collins. Nobody watches their nighttime shows. Of course, she's got to do double duty. Nobody watching. And I told you, Stephanie Rule over on NBC with the 11th Hour, which Brian Williams used to get good ratings on. Last week, she got a total viewership of 88,000 views. 88,000 is the population, they say, of Fargo, North Dakota. That's her total viewership. It's got to tell you something. It's got to tell you, go on, get. So we got Papa's in the house again, and he's working his butt off. He's done more work in the first 6 weeks than Joe Biden did in his entire career. But we thought Joe Biden was stupid. Now, who's going to play him in the movie? The guy on Fox isn't the right material. Who's going to play Joe Biden if we're really going to play it right? All this time, influence peddling in 2 countries, it seems. Who are we going to get? It's a real, you want to talk about espionage. There it is, right in front of your eyes. Absolutely beautiful, she says to Todd Bradshaw. They have no heart. They have no soul. They have no common sense. They have no love for America. They have no love for their constituents. They're everything that James isn't. The Antichrist is what I meant. There's been someone emailing me and never gets through 2 lines without mentioning the Antichrist. Are you watching now? Yeah, I mean, when it actually started to seem like James, when it started to seem like Joe Biden could be the Antichrist, now he's just one of the minions, one of the lead ups. The Antichrist will be a very good looking man. He'll be young. He'll be very well spoken. He'll start off by just speaking common sense to what people will see as common sense. It won't be any scary stuff in the beginning when he starts to make his move. But then before you know it, everything will change. Don't take the mark of the beast, 666. If you don't take the mark, you're going to starve to death. Who knows what's going to happen to you? Don't take the mark. And you wonder why these guys have 5 years of food in their basement. Oh, damn. James, don't put your faith in me and put your faith in the Lord. Well, that's the way to go. And I think, Trump is closer to God than he used to be. He has a long way to go, but so do I, and so do most people I meet. But yes, God won't share his glory with anyone. All glory to God. I'm talking about Trump. Don't put your faith in men. Put your faith in the Lord. That's what the problem is in this country. You don't like Trump. I got it now. Okay. God saved him for a reason. When that bullet came so close to him, if he hadn't turned, he would have been dead. God is using Donald Trump to make America great again, and it's working. He's brought wonderful people around him, wonderful people, many of them solid born again Christians, but not all, not all. But he's got the best cabinet that I've seen, and it's important. The Bible tells us to pray for our leader. Do you know how hard that was when we had Joseph R. Biden turning the country into a sewer, bringing repulsive policies and just turning everything upside down? You don't have to love Trump or anything, but I believe he's being used of God, and he doesn't have to do this. He's gone through so much. He's like a machine. All that lawfare for what was a bookkeeping error that was with an and it was an expired misdemeanor turned into 34 felonies. That man has suffered for America. He has suffered dearly for America when he could just be on the golf course, you know, going from one property to another, etc. So it's not about putting your faith in man. It's about it's about realizing that God heard the cries of his people to stop the scourge that was Joseph Biden and Kamala Harris. God hearing our prayers as we stood in long lines to vote for Donald Trump. He heard those pleas, and it's God that gave America another chance when we don't deserve it. Because I've never really met a Christian that was all that surrendered and all that holy, even if they claim to be. I've never met that. We are all flawed sinners. All your good works are as filthy rags unto the Lord, especially if you don't do it under the direction of the Lord. So, I am well aware of the flaws of Donald Trump. Yes, Stormy. Yeah, he did that numerous times. Um, if you want to expel every man that's done that, in terms of presidents, you'd have very few left. Maybe Richard Nixon would be left. I don't think he did anything that I've ever heard. But you know what I'm saying? But if you don't personally like the man, I think I think we have to be very grateful that Biden Harris are gone forever. I don't even think the people of California will vote for Kamala Harris. But yeah, there's only one Savior, James. That's for sure. There's only the way, the truth, and the life. I will go to my grave believing it's Jesus. And as I stood in line for ashes today, as I say, I'm very comfortable in the Catholic Church, which I was raised in, but I was born again in the Protestant church. Well, actually, a Protestant preacher on TV, the man from Baton Rouge, which at the time would have told you I hated. And talk about a flawed man. And then, wonderful experiences in the Protestant church, was a deacon in one of those churches. So, yeah, they say the Pope is not doing good. It's been touch and go. Um, I would have to say that I think if Joseph R. Biden was the worst president in my lifetime, and he is, Pope Francis is the worst pope in my lifetime. I'm not going to forget everything I've been noticing for the last 4 or 5 years because he may be on his deathbed. Um, no, no. When Raymond Arroyo doesn't like you and feels he has to speak out against you, and Raymond Arroyo gets disinvited from Rome, when a nice guy like that, who has spoken so glowingly of all popes, noting the shortcomings of Pope Benedict for sure, but when he doesn't like you, there must be something about you. He was trying to change clear biblical doctrine, clear biblical doctrine. I know many people are anti-Catholic and they think it's all. Some people feel the Catholic Church is the whore of Babylon. I don't feel that conviction in my heart at all. I just feel like so many churches, they have doctrine that is simply incorrect and some great doctrine as well. Um, he told everyone he doesn't need this. He doesn't need this at all. He can be out there enjoying his life. Exactly, exactly. Um, God is love. What Trump said about the Palestinians. See, we'll learn a little more about you as we want to take over their land and put up a new Riviera, like Vegas will. Uh, that's the way he talks, and put up a new Riviera. And you said that 3 times. Okay. Um, so it's a real sticky situation because many of the Palestinians were pro Hamas. They are ruthless killers, just like Vladimir Putin is, you know? They are ruthless killers, Hamas. And yet, I guess at this juncture right now, Trump is in some way negotiating with Hamas, the grand negotiator. And of all people, Peter Ducey from Fox asked that question to Caroline Levitt this afternoon. Asked, why are we negotiating the policies? We don't negotiate with terrorists. What are we doing negotiating with Hamas? And I wish I could give you the answer. It'd be better if you looked up her answer that she said. But obviously, and he had talked to, there's never been a more pro-Jewish president than Donald John Trump. And I think you know that, James. And maybe, you know, as I've said before, most of the Palestinians in Gaza were pro Hamas, but only because they had a gun to their head. The Hamas came in and took over their sewer system and started putting bombs there and stuff like that. And it was like, you better be pro Hamas, so you're going to die, you and your family. So what kind of choice is that? So I don't know their hearts there. And I didn't want to see any of them killed. I didn't want to see the, the children blown up. They put the bombs, Hamas, in schools and places where, you know, they use the children as human shields, and it's horrific. I totally agree with you. Could Israel have been more delicate, especially as they came in the ground troops, and been more careful with their targets? I think so. I think so. War is hell. It's hell. It's hell. It's hell. But with Donald Trump, when he was president in 2016, there were no wars. There were no wars. So he is about peace. He's about finding peaceful solutions, working out a deal. And you cannot give the middle finger to somebody like Vladimir Putin when all he has to do is flip a switch. He's got the fastest nukes on the planet, and it's all over. It's all over. So you have to work out a deal, and Ukraine is going to have to end up losing some land. And you better hope that somebody like J.D. Vance gets in, because if another numbskull gets in, things will go back to the way they were. Boy, am I rattling on. But I understand how terrible that those children just like the children in Ukraine, they were all hiding out in a school. And did Putin know? Did Vladimir Putin know that if they bomb that place, they'd be killing all those kids there? Because, that makes him diabolical. But you still have to work with him. The idea that we can win a war against Russia is foolhardy. Only if God is wanting that to happen. And, the Bible is full of, there'll be wars and rumors of wars. And you know what happens when the seven seals are opened. There's terrible times coming. I don't think there's a way around that. But then again, I think God has the power to change his mind. Man would say, oh, well, he cannot lie, so therefore he can't change his mind. I'm not sure that's connected. I'm not sure that's 100%. An angel came to Mary, and he said, "You should call your child Yeshua." Okay, totally agree. That is one of the names of God. Do you feel the name Jesus is not valid then? It should only be Yeshua. We have a church downtown that's all Yeshua. Nobody goes there, but there is a church. I know that's a what do you call that I don't know if I want to call it a denomination. Um, Trump did not say one thing about North Carolina or South Carolina, but he's been there. He's helped them out. Um, it is true. I've been wondering myself what's going on up there in the Appalachia section and what have you. Um, he should have. He should have said something about that. He was. He knew what people most wanted to hear him talk about, but he should have. He should have referenced that. He should have referenced how close are these fires coming to Myrtle Beach. It's like I gotta find the local channel, which you can do these days, and watch Myrtle Beach news team to find out what's going on, because all these news channels do, including Fox, as they talk politics. And it's got to be a really big weather event or fire event. But that's a very valid thing, James. He should have commented on that, and we should have some news coverage on that, not a quick little 40-second thing when there's fires getting close to Myrtle Beach. Really? How many homes are being lost? How many lives have been lost? I want to know all that. It's true. We live in a very narrow, and on the weekends, it's terrible. How many field reporters do they have out there? On a Saturday or Sunday daytime, they might have some, but of course, when they get into their nighttime shows, you're not seeing those stories. It has to be a huge story for them to break in. Sean Spears, but he's already helping the Carolinas. I certainly believe that's true, and he's been there and he cares. But this new thing with a fire that's approaching Myrtle Beach and what have you, that is kind of new, and there's not much coverage on it. There's not much coverage on it. You expect this to be in California, and you're not so hearing that it's getting close to Myrtle Beach. Very close to Myrtle Beach, says Tess. And Tyrone, North Carolina. No, I'm saying that wrong. Tryon, North Carolina, which is very close to me. Oh, dear. Yeah. Keep us updated here. But, and I understand there are people that are never going to like Donald Trump, as he said to those Democrats, I could find the cure for cancer and you'd still hate me. And, but in terms of what they want America to be and what Donald Trump has done, bringing America back in just 6 weeks is astronomical to me. Astronomical. Yes, sir. Glad to be able to watch your show. Really enjoy it. Thank you, Sean Spears. I knew a Spears family once. Where are you from? Where are you watching us from? Can you believe almost 2 hours? 2 hours already. Who comes on and stays on for 2 hours? Does Wings of Pegasus stay on for 2 hours with his 448,000 subscribers and we're going live? And he's just talking about songs. There's that many geeks out there. It's musicians, right? I don't know. I don't really want an analysis of Simple Man by Leonard Skinner, but some people do. He's very nice, though, and he's got a nice singing voice. And I think I heard, obviously he plays a little of his own music. Good night, everyone. Good night, Marty Greco. Glad that you are still on the mend and will stay that way. And yeah, it was good to hear that. So pray for the people. Remember, Pristari, if you can, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I'd love to get to 9,900 subscribers and not have it take forever. And the like button, the notification bell is important. When we put something new up, check out our other videos here. If you can, hit the thanks button for any amount. As Hockey 92 hit the thanks button tonight for 1999, but that is down. Thank you, Katina Swatsworth, for your early birthday gift. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Cash App, if you want to use Cash App, it's a tip jar, just like when you go to the waitress. Every time I go see Carmen at the Colonial Diner, I give her a nice tip. I wouldn't feel good if I didn't give her a nice tip because she's the best waitress in the world. Now, I'm not the best talk guy in the world, I understand, but we seem to have some people that are partial to us. So any amount, $1, $2, $3, $5 on the thanks button, or for Cash App, it's lowercase letters Media Guy 56, MEDIAGUY 56, Media Guy 56, because I was born in 56. I was born in 56. So we are living in a dark world, yes, but it's gotten a little brighter since Trump has come back, which is why we need to keep our eyes on the Lord. Well, it's a better way to say it is we need to start keeping our eyes on the Lord more seriously than we ever have. Because, I always thought the term backslidden, I've been backsliding. No, you were never up the hill to begin with. So you can't backslide if your Christian walk has never been that successful to begin with, never that consistent. So that term backslider, you know. So if Billy Graham had opened up a strip club, I guess he could have said, I've backslidden, I'm a backslider. But of course, he wouldn't have done that. So there you go, Andy Rowe. Ah. Pray for Christari. Pray for Deborah Lake, who's going through, she's taking a chemo pill and doing immune therapy. Pray for Brenda with the stones that she's been dealing with, the kidney stones. Pray for Katina's daughter. And Tess is, dealing with the loss of her husband. These are things, if you haven't experienced them, you don't really know the depth of sorrow that they bring. Just looking through the Holy Word. It's so hard to turn the pages on this Bible. But yes, sound doctrine is important. Titus, the epistle of Paul to the apostle to Titus, chapter 2. But as for you, speak the things which are proper for sound doctrine, that the older men be sober, reverent, temperate, sound in faith, in love, in patience. The older women likewise, that they be reverent in behavior, not slanderous, not given to too much wine. Right there, the preacher who says you can't drink any wine is not standing on a biblical principle. Drunkenness is the sin, not having a glass of wine. Teacher of good things, that they admonish the young women to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, homemakers, good, obedient to their husbands. Good, obedient to their husbands, that the word of God may not be blasphemed. Likewise, exhort the young men to be sober minded in all things, showing yourself to be a pattern of good works in doctrine, showing integrity, reverence, incorruptibility, sound speech that cannot be condemned, that one who is an opponent may be ashamed, having nothing evil to say about you. That's from Titus. I don't know that I've read from Titus before. All right. I understand, James. You have something that you're trying to get across, but I believe with all my heart that God saved Donald Trump's life for a purpose. And you have to know that Joseph R. Biden and Kamala Harris were all wrong for America. There was nothing godly about either one of them that I could see. Nothing at all. Shelley has gone to speaking about lizards. So thanks, everybody, for joining us for Worldwide Ramblings for this Wednesday night. Lord willing, we'll see you back here Saturday night at 10 p.m. East Coast time. And who knows what we'll release, and we may do a pop on. You never know between now and then. Appreciate you very much for tuning in. Have a terrific Thursday. Hello, replay crowd. Thank you for joining me. Bye bye for now.